Padma Vibhushan and Rajya Sabha member, more importantly, Pujya Shri Hegde ji. Srimati Hegde ji, who is the mother figure for all the work which is happening. So, Amma, to you. Honorable Member of Parliament, Chauta ji, MLC, who's been very regular in most of the programs here. I've been in his company even the last time when I came here. Chairman Nabard and other dignitaries on the dais. And the August gathering before me. More importantly, SHG members, the women members, my sisters, mothers, daughters, who are all there. आप सबको मेरा नमस्कार. I first want to wish all those members of the SHGs who have earned their profits today. Some groups have received 7,000 each member, 7,000 rupees. It was shown on the board behind me how much each member got. Some others received 6,000 rupees. So by each member, how much is being given is also shown there. A big element of transparency. For rural development programs, which were once upon a time seen as a welfare measure. Government gives money, NGO puts money, and these small groups are formed with village women, and they are given some small amount so that they can do their little activities. It was a welfare measure, I repeat. And that was the welfare measure. Today, welfare happens, but also the women are given a self-respect by saying, I'm earning my own profit. And in that, both the central government and the SHG, together with NGOs or welfare groups, all work together. So today, welfare has empowerment element also. It is not just a kindness that is shown. It is understanding that they are capable of producing value addition, capable of creating something, capable of doing something which will have a market, for which people are ready to buy, for which you are able to get some money back. And with that money, with the dignity, you are able to earn a profit. So the entire orientation of government, taxpayers' money, of an enabling NGO, of a bank, are all together looking at hand-holding the needy people together with empowering them. It is not patronizing them. So empowerment is the tool to remove poverty. Empowerment is the tool for giving access to market, access to earning some money, access to use tools, access to use your own decision making so that you can earn your legitimate profit. And that is where when government invests money in creating digital public infrastructure, it is aimed at making sure the ordinary citizen can also benefit from it. Benefit not for welfare alone. Benefit to give them access to decide what they want to do. They'll produce something, they'll showcase it in the digital e-marketplaces, and after that they will access the market and get their payment also digitally. So when public money goes for creating such infrastructure, when facilitators like Sri Kshetra Dharmasthala institutions, they come together. What a human interface through the Sri Kshetra Dharmasthala group of institution does in the physical form is facilitated through the digital form by the investments made by the government. Add together the rural fund which comes through various schemes. Whether it is the National Rural Livelihood Mission, whether it is the Rural Development Program, whether it is the Drone Didi or Lakpati Didi, whether it is the SHG group's seed capital being given, whether it is the viability gap which comes for the SHGs, whether it is also creating rural infrastructure such as, not just the roads, such as creating warehouses to store your grains which you produce, the grains which are accumulated and FCI godowns are not available everywhere. Through the Atmanirbhar Bharat announcements during COVID, the 5 mini budgets we presented, we came up with viability gap funding and giving the money to SHGs to create their own storing facilities in the village so that the grains produced in the village or the pulses produced in the village need not have to search for where the nearest FCI godown is, can be stored in the village itself. The women can earn something out of keeping the farmer's produce. The farmer could be the husband, father, brother, anybody. And when the prices are good in the market, these grains stored by the SHGs can be released outside. They get better prices. When they sell it immediately after harvest, they don't get good price. So that is also a way in which the self-help groups get access to resources, access to credit, access to decision making, and access to earn legitimate profit. Today, that is what we've seen. The interface of government through NABARD and Sri Kshetra Dharmasthala all coming together to facilitate the rural women. When Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, talks about women-led development, not just women-centric, women-led development. Rural women lead the development of the village. They identify the projects which are suitable for them. They identify the way in which they want to contribute to it. And the facilitation happens through the banks or through the government policy. I would like to underline the fact that when there are institutions like the Dharmasthala institutions, over the decades, I was just speaking with our Honorable Member of Parliament, over the decades, since after independence, this Kshetra, led by our Guruji, now Parliament member, Dharmasthala has been pioneers in rural development activities. Over the decades, and consistently making sure some activity or the other gave that empowerment to women in those villages. And when government policy also understands that this method has paved the way for village after village, women getting empowered, the government adapts that as its own policy. What has been tested, proven in the ground here is found fit to become Government of India's policy. This has happened consistently over several governments. That is why you heard the chairman NABARD speak that some projects are even pilot tested here because, like they say in science, many of you all will know it. They say in science, lab mein pehle test karo. You test it in a lab. And in a lab condition, if some formula works, it can be tested outside where there is no lab condition. Whereas where there is no lab condition, if it is tested and it is working there also, it's fine. But if there is hindrance there, you can adjust small, corrections, bring in tweakings to make it more effective. But here is a lab and outside condition together present under the Sri Kshetra Dharmasthala. You are able to test the veracity of a scheme. You are able to test whether the scheme actually reaches the beneficiaries. You are able to see whether the money actually goes to the benefit of the beneficiary who are sitting in the SHGs. You are able to account for it. There is a moral hold over them as well, which in many government schemes the moral hold would be absent. Here the moral hold is also there through the Dharmasthala Guru. So as a result, time after time, repeatedly, one after the other, every government rural development schemes understand how it can be effectively implemented in the ground, where corrections are required, results are seen, and today, I repeat, and today, unlike before, profits are also shared. That is today's function. Today's function is a very important day in the women's empowerment and rural development. So I do not want to elaborate on this, but 2047, 100 years after we have come out of imperial rule, British rule, and some other parts of the country, Portuguese rule, Dutch rule, French rule, everybody ruled over us, left us impoverished, but today we rule ourselves in our republic. And in that, when you have organizations which realize that lost time will have to be gained, what are people lost in terms of their own efficiencies, their own capacities, their own ability to perform for the welfare of their families? All that was lost. If I'm right, more than 40 million people of India, particularly of the Bengal region, died of even famine without food. Today, nearly 80 years after that, that was in 44, I think, 1944. Today, every part of India produces enough grains to feed itself and even to export. There are parts of India where more pulses can be grown. We need to consume more proteins, more pulses will have to be grown. There is a shortage of pulses growing in India. Karnataka leads in pulse cultivation. But even then, there is a need for greater coordination in rural development. Farmers should get better returns. Farmers need to be supported. Farmers' families need also support. And that is what we see being provided by Sri Kshetra Dharmasthala. But in our voyage towards 2047, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's desire, his dream, he sets you a goal. By 2047, we should be a developed country. I know from rural India, many of us even borrow money and send our children abroad so that they can get better education. Today, we are inviting universities from abroad to also come into India, set up in good campuses. Only recently, the cabinet approved a decision to give students subsidized loans so that they can pursue higher education in top universities in India. That is a Government of India decision. We are setting up artificial intelligence centers, 3 centers of excellence for artificial intelligence, and one of which will be focusing only on agriculture. The other, of course, is going to look at health, which is also important, and the third, which will look at urban development. But agriculture is a very big area for use of artificial intelligence and benefit from it. Your soil can be tested, your water table, which is going even lower and lower, can be tested, how crops can be grown, what is the density which can, all the traditional knowledge systems which our farmers had can be strengthened by using artificial intelligence. So there is a lot of work going in order to have our rural areas strengthened, give them access to newer markets, provide them the skills that is required so that they can better brand their products, better market their products, bring in greater quality into their products. For all this, Government of India is taking a lot of steps. So without taking more of your time, I'm extremely happy that profits can be shared is now repeatedly getting proven in this region thanks to the leadership of Sri Hegde. And today we saw the women from various towns and villages of India, from Karnataka. Some came even from Raichur, from that Hospete area. Some people have come from Anekal near Bengaluru. So it is not just Dakshin Kannada which is benefiting because of your work. All Karnataka is benefiting. And all India is benefiting from the knowledge that we get out of this experience. And NABARD-like institutions are carrying this formula for implementation in the other parts of the country. I'm very grateful to this extremely dedicated leadership that Sri Hegde is showing, and to his entire family which is working together in getting this well organized, and more importantly, all the Lakpati Didis of the SHG, the drone Didis of SHG, and the self-help group ladies for participating continuously in such schemes which empower you for better life and better contribution towards India. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I thank the media. Today I take this special 1 minute more to thank the media, particularly of this region and of Karnataka, for constantly giving us reports on how this work is going on, how all this is resulting in the villages getting access to government programs, whether it is the schemes of the state government or whether it is the scheme of the central government, which pass through these agencies. And as a result, you find development reaching in all parts of Karnataka. I especially thank the media for giving all the time and attention for good work which is going on in the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for your inspirational speech. It will really lead us to another dimension of this entire operations. Now may I request